Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Green's Wood Shop. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about the design process. So I wanted to do a couple videos here just to show you kind of what takes place with the woodworking that I do. So first thing I wanted to show you is safety equipment, things that I wear when I'm working with my power tools. First thing I wear are these safety glasses. I know they're very beautiful, but they go on my head. They keep my eyes safe. And they protect my vision. The next thing I wear, and this is about the only other piece of safety equipment that I wear, is my earplugs. They're these beautiful things. They go into my ears this way, and they just fit in just like that. So that way when the saws are running, it's loud, my ears are protected. So that is what I do for safety equipment. Now, next thing I'm gonna do is show you some of the wood that I work with. So with the design process, we start by figuring out what kind of items we need. So first thing we do is we have to figure out what kind of wood we want to use. So for what I'm doing today, I'm creating 4-foot signs as well as American flags. The main thing we're going to focus on is the American flags because the 4-foot signs are very, very simple. So the American flags, we use this type of wood. This is called pine wood. Pine wood is pretty common. It's used for 2x4s or anything of that nature. A lot of times pine wood is used for when your house gets built or when you do a project that requires a 2x4 or a 2x6. Anything like that is usually pine wood. So we use those this is not 2x4 though. This is called a 1x, and the piece of wood that I'm going to be using is 16 foot long. But it is a 1x10 for my American flags, and then a 1x8 for my 4-foot signs. So those are porch signs that we'll be making. So I'm gonna get the 16-foot signs, or the 16-foot board set up to cut my 4-foot signs, and we'll show you how that works. So next thing we're doing is we're going to set the saw so that we can cut a 4-foot sign. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my tape measure. This is one of the pieces of equipment that I use. And we are going to measure 4 feet. So we take the tape measure. Here's a foot, starting right here. We're gonna take it to 2 feet, 3 feet, which is green from a project that I did, and 4 feet, which is 48 inches. So I'm gonna make my tape measure just a little bit longer. I'm gonna get my stop set up so that I can accurately cut each piece. Now, safety-wise, I want to take my saw and bring this down, keep my hands outside of the trigger, which you can't see right now. So my hands are outside of the trigger zone, which is right here. I want my hands to stay out here so that the saw doesn't accidentally start. So that's how the saw starts. Then I'm going to go down this direction and set my stop at 4 foot. So that is set and it's ready to go. So the next process is going to be cutting three foot sections for an American flag. What we're gonna do for this one is we're going to cut, so I got a bug flying on my head. We're gonna cut 5 of those 3-foot sections, and then I'm gonna move us over to my table saw, and you're gonna get to see how the table saw works as well. And this American flag is gonna be stained black and red. It stands for the thin red line for our firefighters. It's for a customer of mine. So I just figured why not knock out 2 birds with 1 stone and make one of those. So you'll get to see that process in just a second once I get this piece of wood set up. All right, guys, so right here, we are now going to do what we call ripping a board. So we're going to take this piece right here. This is called a rip fence. And what's going to happen is with this rip fence, I'm going to take a piece of wood this size. So see this, it is 3 foot. And I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to run it through the table saw up against the rip fence. And then at the end, I will have a piece that is 1.5 inches wide, 3 foot long. And I need 15 of those for one American flag. Now, there are 13 stripes in an American flag. Think about why I am going to cut 15 pieces, and we'll talk about it in class. So, that's your assignment. Think about why I'm going to cut 15, and once I'm done, we'll talk about it. All right, so we have now done several steps with our American flag. Now, the next step, we get to use some fire. Now, this is something that you do not play with. So anybody that thinks playing with fire is safe, please think otherwise. So right here is the nozzle, and what happens when I turn this, well, it's not a nozzle, it's a valve. When I turn the valve, the flame's gone. When I open this back up, it releases a gas, and that gas is called propane. And what happens is I take a lighter, I light it, and then the flame takes off. Again, this is not something to play with at home, but it's something that I use every day when I make American flags. Again, I think I said earlier that it's a special design that we do for our American flags. So I'm going to burn 6 of the stripes, and you will get to see that. All right, and there it is. It's finished. So that was our last stripe that we needed to do. So we have 6 stripes that are burned, and we have 7 stripes that are going to be stained black. All right, so our next step is measuring. And what we're gonna measure is the union, which is where the stars in the American flag go. So we're gonna measure 14 3/4 of an inch. So we have to have a tape measure, which I'll have to go grab here in a second. But I'm also going to be using a hammer and razor blades to mark where the union is going to go. So I'll show you how that works here in just a second. Okay, so now that I have the union marked out, and I'll show you. From here to this razor blade is 14 3/4 of an inch. And that is where we're going to stain, and stain on this side as well. So this stripe is going to be all black. This stripe is going to have black, and then it's going to stay this burned color. All right, so we have done from the beginning. That's where we're gonna start. So we started with a 1x10, 16-foot board. Then we took it, we cut it down into 5 3-foot pieces, but we only needed 3 of them. And then we took them to the table saw, and we got these pieces. We got 15 of these. Now, I asked a question earlier of why do we need 15 pieces? when the flag only has 13 stripes. So you're gonna figure out here in a few minutes why we needed 15. So what I'm gonna do now is cut these 2 pieces. It's gonna give you a hint of what we need 15 stripes for, and then we will put the flag together. All right, give me just a second, and I will get us set up on the miter saw. So I don't know if I explained this earlier, but this is called a miter saw. A miter saw is can also be referred to as a chop saw, but it's used to do a lot of cross cut wood, so across the grains of the wood, and that's what a miter saw is mainly used for. So I am going to cut these at 18 1/4 inch. That is going to give me enough wood here for what I need it for. And you will figure out what I need it for in just a few minutes. We are going to move into putting the flag together. Okay, so the next step is taking these pieces that we cut. These were the extra pieces that we cut, and I cut them into 4 smaller pieces, and those are for the supports on the back of the flag. So we're going to use some glue. We are going to take the wood glue, put it on one of these strips. If I can get it to come out here. We're going to glue all the way down the back. Put this on and get it set up here. There's the first one. There's the second one. Here's the third one. And the fourth one. So now that these pieces have wood glue, I am going to take my brad nailer, and this takes a few minutes. So I'm going to put this into a faster video, and you're going to see how I put it together. Okay, so we have our brad nails put on, our back slats are on, and it's all together. Let's hope it's put together the right way. All right, the moment of truth. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. There it is. Okay, so next step we're going to do is we're going to somehow get the stars onto what is called the union. All right, stick with me. I will get my stencil set up, and we will get the stars put on next. All right, so we have now put the flag together. Our next step here is to take the stencil here and put it on. So I have to tape it down. I already have it pretty squared, so I'm going to put the tape on here to hold it in place. Okay, so the tape's going to hold it in place. Now I'm going to turn it this direction because it's a lot easier for me to Draw the stars on this way. And I'm gonna put this in fast motion because it takes a little while. All right, so now we have our stars on. My next step here is going to be to use this tool. It's called a Dremmel. Here's what it sounds like. So what's gonna happen is I'll do 1 or 2 stars here just so you can see. But I'm gonna carve out a star. I'm only gonna carve the outside, and I'm gonna carve all 50 of the stars, the outside. This is part of the design. And then I'm going to switch over to a larger bit right here. You can't really see it, but a larger bit, and I'm going to do what we call clearing the middles, and you'll get to see all that. So here is a regular motion of how it looks when I carve the stars. So there's what it looks like to use a Dremel and carve the stars right here and right here. So there's 2 stars done, 48 more to go for the outsides, and then we will do 50 stars of clearing the middles. And I will put all that in fast motion. Okay, so we have started at the very beginning with a 1x10 16-foot board. We cut that into 3-foot sections, and then we took those 3-foot sections and we ran them through the table saw to get our 1.5-inch stripes right here. Then, after we got those stripes, we took the torch and we lit the torch and we burned those stripes to look like this, okay? Then, we took those those stripes, took them out to the workshop. We clamped them together and then put the flag together, putting the 4 supports on the back, which were the 2 extra stripes that I made. Then, once we did that, we brought the flag back over to the garage. That is where I put the stencil on and started drawing the stars in. And then we took the Dremel and we carved the outside of the stars, and then we switched the bit, and then we carved the inside of the stars to get this. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the torch again. Again, don't play with fire. We're gonna light it, okay? We now have fire, and we are gonna burn these stars to blend them in with this wood. So we wanna blend these white stars in with the burnt wood. So here we go. Real slow, nice and easy. Okay, so we are on our last piece of this project. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take polyurethane, and this is what I like to use. It's called Miniwax fast drying polyurethane, and it's a clear gloss, so it gives it a really like clear, bright coat. So here's what I do. I'll just spray it on, and that will be the final step of this design. All right, and that is it. All right, thanks for sticking with me during this process. I've really enjoyed getting to make this flag and being able to share this video with you. Please, if you like this video, great. Share it with your friends. Go ahead and press subscribe if you want to, and let me know what you think. I am always looking for ways to improve my work, so please share what you think needs to be changed. Thank you so much.